Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Kim, and this video is going to be a reading vlog for the Stay Spookyathon. This readathon is hosted by Dana and Nikki. I will link both their channels below. It's for their Thrills and Chills book club as well. I talked about it a little bit in depth in my October TBR. I mentioned the books that I will be reading for this readathon, and also the fact that they had created a bingo card for reading prompts. So 2 of the 3 books I will be reading in this video I have available to me in both ebook and audio format, which is great. We love it when that happens. And that is We Spread and Clown in a Cornfield. And then the last book that I am waiting for, it is currently on a truck on its way to me. I don't really exactly know if it's on its way to me right now at this moment, but ideally it's going to be getting here soon, and that is Murder in the Family. We're going to start with We Spread because I already began it on audio. Essentially in this one we are following Penny as she is succumbing to some effects of old age. So she's forgetting things, she's not really taking care of herself, and eventually she moves into an old folks home where weird things start happening. I'm not necessarily feeling unsettled or creeped out, I'm just feeling sad. So right now, where we're currently at, Penny is living on her own, her partner has passed away, and it's just a sad situation that she's in. She's forgetting things, she doesn't remember the last time she took care of herself. She'll take food out of the pantry, put it on the counter with the intent to make dinner with that food, and then forget about it. And so it's gone bad, or it's growing roots and whatever. And really at this point, she's just living off of tomato soup and bread. I mean, I think for obvious reasons, it's a little sad, and you know, the effects of old age can be really serious, and sometimes people don't see the effects of it until something happens, and it's just sad to listen to. And the narrator really does a great job at getting the listener immersed into what is going on. But I am slowly progressing and getting closer to part 2, so hopefully things will start getting a little bit more spooky and a little less sad on my end. As far as my plans for tonight, my partner and I are going to our local corn maze for a mini date night. And then afterwards, we're doing a big grocery run because we're having both our families over for Thanksgiving dinner. And this is not the first time we've made a turkey dinner, but the first time we've made one with a lot of people there. So I will tune in a little bit later once things start getting a little spookier with We Spread. Okay, bye. Good morning. Okay, so last night was so much fun. My partner and I went to the corn maze, and the last time we were there was like, I don't even know, I think it was like 6-7 years ago or something like that. So it's been a while. And when we went last night, we had found that tons of things have changed. There's now like a fire pit, there's a petting zoo, a sunflower field, a pumpkin patch, like all these new additions that was not there when we were there when we were younger. So it was just nice to see there was all these activities going on. And then we obviously also did our big grocery run, and now we are ready for today pretty well. But last night I read a little bit more and listened to more of We Spread, and I'm well into part 2 now, and it's no longer sad. Rejoice, there's no more sadness. Things are definitely getting more unsettling. When I first got into part 2, I was happy for Penny because she's moved into this home, even though obviously she wasn't super crazy about moving into the home, but when she got there, she ended up feeling okay about it because she felt part of the community. She was making friends. She was actually being well fed, she was sleeping okay, and all these things. And I was like, perfect, great. Like, I'm happy to see Penny is being taken care of. The unsettling things are, of course, happening. It's a very small home. There's only like 4 residents there or something. And they all kind of have their own unique hobbies that they pursue, or things, passion projects, I guess, if you will. One's a violinist, a mathematician, a translator, and then Penny is an artist. There's this like continuous emphasis on the residents eating and then going and working on their kind of trade. And I'm still trying to figure out what that means, but it's just odd that that's just always referenced. And then things are happening that Penny's not really recognizing and understanding what's going on. There's still an undertone of sadness, obviously, but it's going really well so far. I would absolutely recommend that if you're interested in picking this up, listen to it on audio, like 100%. The voice actor does such a good job at getting you immersed in the story and making you feel for the character. Like, you really get invested in seeing what's happening to this character. As far as today goes, when we did our grocery run yesterday, we literally picked up everything we needed, and so today we are just going to be cooking our butts off and cleaning. And I don't know why I do this to myself. Every single time we have company over, I leave cleaning and everything else I need to do to prep for it the day of. I don't know. That's my toxic trait, if I have one. That's what it is. Leave everything to like the last minute as far as like prepping for company. But you know what? And honestly, I think it's going to work out because I want to finish We Spread on audio today, and I think it's going to be the perfect day to do it because I'm just going to be cleaning and putzing around, and I'm going to have my headphones in and I'll be able to finish it then. I don't know that I'll have time to provide updates today, so I'll probably tune in tomorrow, I think, and provide an update then. But yeah, okay. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I always provide morning updates lately because I've been so busy that I haven't had time to like provide a sit down, like live in action update. Last night was a lot of fun. It was really good. It was very, very busy all day yesterday and productive. Bit of a change of plans. The original plan was to have both my partner's family and my family over for dinner. Unfortunately, within the night before and then yesterday, my partner's entire household caught the cold. So obviously we had to kibosh the idea of them coming over, and it was just my family. But we were able to package up a lot of the leftovers and drop it off at their doorstep for them to enjoy as well. But it was a really great evening nonetheless with my own family. And it did entail a lot of prep work. We cooked our butts off. It was really a busy day, and we cleaned like crazy, which was really good in its own way because I was able to finish the audiobook for We Spread. I really liked this one. It was very unsettling, specifically a part where fungi, like mushrooms, were growing on something it should not be. In my mind, mushrooms should always just grow on the forest floor. It should not grow on anything else. It irks me whenever that happens. in like scary movies or even books, when that's described, it just gives me like the heebie-jeebies. But also, I specifically really liked the commentary in the book. There was a lot discussed as far as how society treats aging people and the elderly, and also how society just treats them all the same and looks at them as all the same, and really how they experience like a massive loss of autonomy as they get older and decisions are just made for them. That was very evident in a lot of different parts, and that was tough to just read and hear occur to Penny and to the other residents. And I mentioned yesterday that I was like, oh, Penny's like making friends and in this home and being taken care of and stuff. But, that quickly evaporated. It's one of those books where I think if you Googled it, like you could find a lot of really interesting discussions. I'm sure it was a book club pick for a lot of people when it originally came out. But I do think like if, your book club hasn't covered it, maybe this would be a really cool one to dive into. Overall, my rating for it is probably going to be like 3.75 or a 4. I feel like a 4. Yeah, I don't know. I'll decide by the end of the video, but okay, so I've scooted over a little bit because it's time to do a bingo board check-in. So with We Spread, we got audiobook, orange on the cover, and it was an adult thriller. So I am nowhere near a bingo right now, but my goal with this was to get the far right side with the fall drink, orange on the cover, new release set in the fall and outside of my comfort zone. So as we progress through the video, I will continue to bring up the bingo board and provide updates as we go. However, once I finished We Spread yesterday, I still had a ton of stuff to do. So I just figured I'm going to start clowning the Cornfield on audio. We're just going to do it. We're going to keep the audiobook train going. Essentially, this is about Quinn and her father, and they move to this town. And the town's older folks don't like the younger generation, like at all. The younger generation tend to just kind of have their own YouTube channels and get up to all kinds of shenanigans. And sometimes these shenanigans are at the expense of the adults and the older people in the town. So at this point, we are really just getting to know Quinn and her situation and getting to know the other characters. There is a large cast of characters. It has my attention so far, and it was really great just to listen to in the background while putzing around and cleaning. As far as what my plans for today goes, I am going to make pancake breakfast because my partner and I worked really hard yesterday. And I also don't really need much of an excuse to make pancakes. I love pancake breakfast. You don't have to twist my rubber arm at all. So that's pretty well what my plan is for today. I think I'm going to continue listening to Clown in a Cornfield on audio. I did try to read it with my eyes last night, and I definitely prefer the audio. So I'm just going to find excuses to just essentially listen to it on audio throughout the day and hopefully get that done soon. But I will provide a check-in a little bit later. Okay, bye. Look at what came in the mail today. We were all very excited about this book mail. I am extra pleased because it came just in time. I'm almost done Clown in a Cornfield. I opened up the package and I was like, oh man, this is like a chunky book. And then I was opening it. I think it's going to be a really engaging read because it's all like script and different media because we're following along with a TV show. So we have like texts, we have resumes, we have newspaper articles. So I'm very excited to dive into this one. And plus the cover is really gorgeous. Like the purples and the pinks. I think it looks really nice, but yeah, I will provide an update as soon as I can start reading it. So hello, good afternoon. I had finished Clown in a Cornfield last night, and overall I think I'm going to give it like maybe a 3.25, I don't know, or a 3.5. I feel like I just don't really have something substantial to say about it. Like, was it a good time? Yes. Do I think that there was a plot hole? Yes. I'm not going to say what the plot hole is though, because that would be a spoiler in the entire story. I did find that the transition in the plot points wasn't the best. Like, it felt a little bit clunky at times. Like 30% in, the townspeople have just kind of decided that they're done with the younger generation's shenanigans and now the clown is on a killing spree. It's like things like that. Like, it just happens really quickly. Overall, it was a fun time. So I can't really complain with that. It was good slasher, you know, I feel like very appropriate for Halloween. I do feel that I went to the corn maze at the wrong time. I should have gone to the corn maze while I listened to this audiobook, so I feel like it would have enriched my experience out there. So I did want to provide a bingo board check-in really quick before I go. So um, if you hear munching in the background, my cat is just eating. She's a cruncher, that's for sure. Anyways, group book, a YA thriller, an audiobook, a slasher, and I believe it was set in the fall because the Cornfield fall time, I think that's probably appropriate. So I am getting closer to a bingo. I am. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my fall drink, which is hot chocolate. So I'll check in a little bit later once I've gotten a little bit into Murder in the Family. Hello, good afternoon from me and Mr. Simulu. I just really quickly wanted to hop on here because I've gotten a little bit of a ways into Murder in the Family, and I don't think I've provided a proper update yet, but I'll start with the synopsis. So essentially we're following along with this infamous TV show cast, and they are trying to solve the murder of Luke Ryder, and Luke Ryder was Guy Howard's stepdad, and Guy was just a young kid. I think he said he was like 10 or 6 or something like that when Luke Ryder was murdered. And so basically Guy just started this new season with hopes that the cast will solve the murder. And it was really interesting because at the beginning of the book, like literally the cast of characters we're following in here is very, very large. Like there's a lot going on. A lot of people are talking. But within the first 10 pages, you literally see the resumes, like literal resumes of the cast are provided, like a picture of what they look like to some extent, which I also thought was helpful, just to provide like a picture in my head of, you know, when that person is talking, what they look like. The way that the TV show script is written as well is pretty decent. They're like describing when scenes change and kind of slight descriptions into the characters' kind of demeanors when something is said. But overall, I think like getting into a reading flow with this is very, very easy. Like at first, it was just kind of like clunky because you're trying to get to know all the different characters and how they all fit in and how they're all talking and whatnot. But once you get into a flow of it, you kind of can pick up on how they're communicating with each other, which is pretty good. Yeah, enjoying it so far. I'll tune in a little bit later. Hi, hello. I just wanted to hop on and provide an update for Murder in the Family because I am making very good headway into this, and chances are next time I sit down, I'm just gonna finish it. It reads very, very quickly. I sit down to read it for like an hour, and I am just powering through like 150 pages, which is not my normal pace at all, but I do think it is a credit to just the different media formats that we get in here, and the margin sizes are like the size of Canada. So I think it's very easy to just sit down and read a very big chunk into it. And plus it holds your attention just with everything that's going on. Obviously we're following along with a TV show, and the cast of characters each episode are just sitting with each other and going over what they found. It's highly engaging, surprisingly, and I was worried that it was going to come across as like very procedural, and it's not. And I'm kind of getting to a point where things are getting juicy between the characters, and I don't want to say anything more than that because I feel like it's just going to spoil the experience of reading it. And I was also worried that it was going to come across as kind of convenient, like the ever convenient plot. I do not enjoy that in my thrillers or my mysteries, and this is just not it at all. It's very juicy, it's very kind of like surprising in its own way. They're not just like simply rehashing things, they're actively discovering new things, and there's surprising stuff happening. It's enjoyable so far. I will say that I am envious of anybody who got the audiobook for this because a full cast of characters and just this like TV show type format, I feel like the audiobook would just be unreal for this. I just wanted to, provide an update because I don't have much left. I'm on 360 and don't have much left, and I am very eager to just kind of figure out what is happening. I think that the next time I'll provide an update for this is once I'm done it, which should be in short order considering how things read pretty quickly in here. But I'll talk to you soon. Hello, so I had finished Murder in the Family last night, and I think I'm gonna land on 4.25. I thought it was such a fun and engaging read, very, very different from what I normally read. I will say that if you're somebody who likes to annotate your books or take notes, or try and kind of like solve the mystery before the end of the book, this is going to be the book for you, and definitely annotate absolutely everything. There were small details that always came up and I was like, oh, I don't think that that's going to be important. No, everything comes into play at the end of it. Absolutely everything. I finished it, and the very last sentence that you read is like, what? And I went online and I was like, there has to be some kind of Reddit thread or something about this. Like, there just must be. And then sure enough, I found one, and I had some really great discussions on there. Like, there were so many things to take into consideration with the ending, and not is all that it seems. So it was very, very good. I did read online that some people are speculating if there will be a second book that would come out. So I think in summary, this was a fairly successful reading vlog. I gave Murder in the Family 4.25 stars. I decided on 4.25 for a wee spread as well. And then I'm going to give 3.25 to Clown in a Cornfield. All very good reads and very enjoyable. I'm definitely in the fall spooky spirit. As far as the bingo card check-in goes, I was very successful. Murder in the Family meets a Trick-or-Treat Your Shelf and a new release. Clown in a Cornfield, I forgot to mention earlier, meets the Out of My Comfort Zone prompt. I mentioned in my October TBR that I don't typically gravitate towards YA, so this was something that I wasn't sure how I was gonna like, but I ended up enjoying it. It was a good time. And then I did have my fall drink, which was hot chocolate. It was very delicious. Yay me, I got a bingo. But thanks so much for hanging out and watching me take part in my very first readathon on Booktube. It was a good time. Thank you so much, Nikki and Dana, for creating this and creating the bingo card for prompts. And I hope you all have a very happy Halloween.